LSU slipping from national championship contention in recent years can be attributed to a number of things. A lot of people like to point at quarterback. We bring in Billy Gomila from And the Valley Shook on the SB Nation platform for LSU Athletics to pin us down on LSU quarterbacking going into 2016. And Anthony, Billy, it all goes to Brandon Harris at this point. He only threw it 277 times. He was the only LSU quarterback to attempt a pass last year. It all rides on his shoulders now.
Yeah, the offense, it's one of those things where the offense kind of got better last year, mostly because of Leonard Fournette being amazing. And, when things went bad, it was because of the passing game. It's going to be on him. There's going to be an open competition. I expect Danny Etling, the Purdue transfer, to, push him hard. I don't know that he takes the job because I think it's going to be really tough to just take it from an incumbent. But, Brandon's got to take the jump. Oddly enough, I don't know that it's the big storyline for LSU this spring for once, but it is the key to the offense taking the next step.
How much of a jump do you think he made last year, considering that he had the higher ceiling than Anthony Jennings? He was expected to take over as the starter, but he fell flat on his face at Auburn the previous season in his one big start. But he won the job, and he had a decent season, 54% completions, 13 TDs, 6 picks, and he provides mobility.
Yeah. Compared to his freshman year, I thought he was much better. His freshman year, he just had a rough adjustment to college life and to kind of, struggling a little bit with the playbook. And I do think he picked up on that. His sophomore year does fall in line with a lot of other young quarterbacks in the SEC that were in their second year, kind of like guys like Brandon Allen in Arkansas, some of the South Carolina quarterbacks, some of the Alabama quarterbacks early on. And he improved. He was progressing well up until November, and kind of the production took that nosedive, and he did get hurt. There was a sports hernia injury that he had to have surgery on in December. How much of a factor that was, it's hard to say, but I wouldn't dismiss it either, especially given that accuracy was his big problem, and he would have been throwing in a lot of pain, with that injury. But he closed out the bowl game fairly well. He did a good job in that, and I do think he's ready to take kind of that next step. The question is that next step to just being, a little more consistently decent, or does he kind of take that jump and become good, kind of like what Zach Mettenberger did between year 1 and 2?
Yeah, there seems to be a bit of a theme here with Purdue quarterbacks transferring to the SEC. You got Austin Appleby, who may vie for the starting job at Florida. You mentioned Danny Etling, who had 12 starts in West Lafayette, surrounded by less talent. What do you know about Danny Etling at this point?
Well, he was a fairly well thought of recruit. I believe he was a 4-star. And he might have been top 10 or something like that in the class. Talking to Purdue fans, the consensus was that wasn't so much this kid's not any good. This kid was kind of put in a bad spot, kind of thrown to the walls, and he just didn't handle it very well. They felt kind of, I don't want to say that they felt like they were telling us, oh, you guys are getting somebody who might be good, so much as they were, hey, look, this kid needs a fresh start. The new offense Purdue was running wasn't really a good fit for him. Maybe things will work out here. I know his first year he made a good impression on the team, from my understanding, in terms of observations in the quarterback's meeting room, running the scout team, things like that. So how much of a chance he's got to win it is hard to say, but I know they're going to give him a shot. If he can go out there and take the job from Brandon Harris, they will let him.
We're on the cusp of spring practice, March 7th. We'll want to catch up with you, Billy, in about a month, closer to the spring game. But you alluded to other areas on the football team being of importance. So give us a quick spring preview of what you're talking about in regards to positional battles and what you think needs to be focused on.
Well, on offense, LSU just about got everybody back. The big key will be finding 2 offensive tackles, which there's a lot of talent to choose from there. It's just a question of finding them. You got a very veteran interior with Ethan Posick and 2 freshman All-American guards in Will Clapp and Maya Tahuma. The most interesting storyline, to me and to us at ATVS, are the changes that Dave Aranda is bringing at defensive coordinator, with LSU possibly moving towards more of a 3-4 look, kind of is a little bit of a talent infusion, some early enrollees that we expect to have a role. Guys like Savion Smith, who was a 5-star defensive back recruit, Michael Divinity, who was a big-time linebacker, has a real good chance of stepping in and play. And LSU kept a lot of early enrollees on that, possible early departures on that side of the ball, particularly Kendall Beckwith, who, in a scheme like Aranda's, where he really featured the linebackers as blitzers and pass rushers at Wisconsin. That's something that Beckwith has shown a knack for, and it's something he could really excel in this year. There's a lot of excitement to kind of see how that develops.
Billy Gomila getting us set for LSU spring practice on March 7th, writing for And the Valley Shook on the SB Nation platform for LSU Athletics. Billy, hopefully we can catch up with you in a few weeks when we have some news from spring camp.
Absolutely. Anytime.